Oh man. Hi, and welcome to the Soul Alignment channel. Oh man, today we are going to be doing Transparency Tuesday. And since I am doing Transparency Tuesday, I just have to just be transparent about just um this whole struggle on coming in here to talk about what I was guided to talk about. Um, hey, Tail. And that's so crazy because I thought I turned my comments off. So I guess they're supposed to be on. But um I was guided a couple of months ago to like do series on here. So do like on Mondays come on here with my daughter, on Tuesdays do Transparency Tuesday, and just come on and share like um experiences that I went through, how I got through those experiences, and how they affected my life. So, what my healing process was like, just being transparent about my journey and how I overcame things. So, um, I wasn't going to get on here today. And when I got up to do my meditation, I was just reminded of Transparency Tuesday. And then I was given a topic to get on here and talk about. And I've been sitting in my car for about an hour, just saying, am I really about to do this? And like, I know, like, my soul is saying, hey, just do this. And I know why. But the ego is like, are you crazy? Are you really about to get on live and talk about this? But my spiritual team showed me, like, hey, you do this. Like, it's okay. You're doing this because guess what? You're at a space where you are healed. You have no guilt and no shame because you understand that what happened to you was not your fault. But the effects that it had on you and the way you move through life after that and the choices that you made, you know, affected you in a negative way where you had to make a different choice and honoring you and coming back to honoring your no and knowing that it's okay for you to say no. And so I was guided to share my experience from my trauma of when I was raped when I was 12, how that affected my life, and to share the whole story. And keep in mind, when this happened to me, I didn't even tell anybody until I was 18. So I literally kept it to myself. And that affected my expression to be able to express my truth. Um, and my reason for not saying anything, because I felt like if I didn't say anything, it was like it never happened. And being somebody who had this knowing very early on, I didn't know exactly that it was going to happen. I just had this fear of like, I would never want something like this to happen to me. And when it happened to me, I was devastated. And I told myself if I didn't tell anybody, it would be like it never happened. And so, um, so at 9, I knew that I didn't want something like this to happen to me. At 12, it happened. And when it happened, I was guided. So I went with my sister by her boyfriend, and he had a cousin. And I was like, I know what she was hanging out with her boyfriend. The cousin was like, hey, let's go to the store. So I went to the store. I'm sitting in this car. And as I'm sitting in the car, I'm guided to get out of the car and go home. I'm maybe like 6 blocks from my house. 6 blocks from my house. The way I'm guided to go home is not the normal way that I would walk home. Like it's not the busy street, it's the back street. And so I'm scared. I'm sitting in this car and I'm like, if I get out of this car, something's going to happen to me. And I stay in the car. I stay in the car and something happens to me. So that trauma and how it affected my life was like I disconnected from my body. And I shared this in another live. But I stayed in the car. This person took me to a park and was trying to come on to me. And I was like, look, I'm not trying to do anything with you. And now that I'm older and I'm thinking about, and I have, you know, healed from this and I've processed it, I've done all the things. But now that I'm older and I'm thinking about the situation and what I said at that time really gave this person a green light to say, oh, yeah, this is what I'm doing. And so I'm in the car, we're at this park, and he's like, oh, well, if you're not going to give it up, then you can get out. And I was like, well, I'm getting out. No, before that, I was like, I'm not doing anything with you. Like, I didn't come here for this. I'm still a virgin. And he was like, well, if you're not going to give it up, you can get out. And so I get out the car and I start walking, don't know where I'm at. It's dark. He get out the car. He come behind me. He grabbed me, punched me in my face, throw me on the ground. And he was getting ready to force himself on me. And I was like, please don't do this. I'm like crying. Please don't do this. And he's like, well, if you don't want to do this, then, suck my private part. And I'm like, I'm not doing that. So then he ripped my clothes off me and he forced himself on me. And then when he's done, he get up, I fix my clothes, his car won't start. So then we have to go, he have family in this area. We go walk, and I have to walk with this person because I don't know where I'm at. I'm devastated because of what just happened to me. And I'm like, okay, so I have to go walk with this person. He go by his people house. They give us a ride back. And I can just remember sitting in the back of that car saying, when I get home and I tell my brother about this, it's not going to be pretty. But as I'm driving, I get back to where my sister is. And another reason why I didn't get out the car, because I didn't want to leave my sister, because I was like, she's not going to know where I'm at. I didn't want to leave her by herself because we went there together. And so when I get back to where my sister is, we leave and we're walking home. And I can remember her asking me, because I was just real quiet. And she kept saying, are you okay? Like, what's wrong with you? And I was like, nothing. So I go home. I take me a bath. I can't even remember if afterwards, like if I even cried. I just was devastated. And I was like, I'm never going to let this come out of my mouth. I'm never going to tell anybody, because I'm about to act like this didn't happen to me, because I never wanted this to happen to me. I said it would be devastating. I said all of these things. But I know now that being in soul alignment, me knowing that, like, it was destined to happen. It was going to happen to me. And it happened to me. And so I didn't tell anybody. And that trauma didn't make me afraid of men. It didn't make me afraid of, dating or being around people. It just made me afraid to say no. So, like, when I would hang out with a guy, if he tried to come on to me, I wouldn't say, if he tried to come on to me, I would just do it, because I was like, nobody's ever going to take that from me again. Nobody's ever going to do that to me again. So I was afraid to say no. So my fear of saying no was also a trap that I didn't know, but it was my way of protecting myself and saying nothing like this would ever happen to me again. And so from 14, so that happened to me when I was 12. So from 14 to 18, I met 5 people that I was, talking to. My son's father, who I met when I was 14. Um, again, didn't want to say no. It wasn't like, he was aggressive or anything, but I just had the fear if I say no, then somebody's going to force themselves on me again. And nobody wants to feel that. Nobody wants to experience that, So at 14, I meet my first child's dad, and, we're talking, and I'm alone with him. And of course, guys are going to do what they do. And so that caused me to have a baby at 14. I mean, get pregnant at 14, have a baby at 15. And so I became a mother very early. And that was a whole nother chapter, right? I'm young, I have this baby. I have this trauma, trying to take care of a child. Um, and then as I got older, and meeting other guys, same thing. Meeting people, talking to them, wind up being alone with them. They come on to me, same thing. I'm not saying no. So at 17, I was in this situation with this guy and didn't say no. And now my life is at risk because I got chlamydia and crabs. And crabs was something that I heard about, but never knew that it was a real thing. But it was that effect of me not saying no or being afraid to say no, feeling powerless, feeling like I never want this to happen to me again, caused me to be in another situation where my life, now I'm recognizing that, hey, you have to say no because you can die. You can get something that you can't cure, that you can't, you know, overcome from. You can die from something serious if you keep going on like this. And so after that, I went to the doctor and I was like, you know what? This is never, this, no, I have to say no. I have the right to say no. I didn't feel like I had the right to say no. And for a long time, I felt guilt and shame about it. First of all, because I didn't listen to my intuition. So that caused me to disconnect from myself. I didn't trust myself because I was like, if you were guided to get out this car and you didn't, how could you trust yourself? So that caused the illusion of me not trusting myself. But me standing in my power after having that experience, going to the doctor, what that caused me to do is go to the doctor every year. So ever since that happened, every year I go to get tested. Every year I've had a clean bill of health. After that, I was in my power of saying no. And then when I got in another relationship, I waited a whole year before I was intimate with this person. And with this person, I exercised my no, and he respected that. He respected my no. But then in that relationship, the no was like, okay, he waited a year. I'm saying no. He's respecting it. But then he got to the point where he was like, look, I've been with you for a year. I've been patient. What's going on? Like, I want to be with you. Right. And so in this relationship, I didn't understand why I considered this person as my first love. I didn't know why. It wasn't until after we were together for almost 2 years. He broke up with me, broke my heart. I was devastated. But I kept saying, he was my first love, and I didn't know why. And I'm sharing that story because he was the first person to respect my no. When I finally took my power back and being able to say, a no is a no, and I can say no. And nobody have the right to force themselves on me. To be able to stand in that power and say that, and then to have somebody where I can say no to him for a whole year, he respected that. And the relationship didn't work out, but I understand his role in my life and how that was another awakening for me. So, getting a sexually transmitted disease was an awakening for me to come back to my power and accept my no. And then coming into this relationship and having somebody to respect my no, to show me that, hey, it is okay. And that wasn't okay. You know what I'm saying? So being a 12-year-old girl who no wasn't respected, who didn't tell anybody, so didn't have anybody to really talk to her or tell her anything. I really had to sit with that, like, till I was 18. Like, nobody knew. And it wasn't until my um son's dad, and this is how my mom found out, because my son's dad, being as ignorant as he is, he was like, we was on the phone one day, and we wasn't together, but we was on the phone, and he was, checking on my son. And he was like, oh, because I know you wasn't no virgin when I met you. And I was like, no, I wasn't a virgin because somebody raped me, but you was the first person that I was with, willingly. And he was talking to my mom, and my mom was telling him like, oh, you was the first person my daughter was with, and you gonna treat her like this. And he told my mom, he just blurted out to my mom, oh, I wasn't the first person she was with, somebody raped her. So that's how my mom found out. And then I had to tell her then. So, up until 18, I didn't tell anybody about it, and I just held that trauma with me, swallowed my truth for all those years. um was in this space of, I can't trust myself. I'm not afraid to connect with somebody, but if they come on to me, I'm not going to say no, and I'm just going to not give them me, just be there. So it still was like continuous, not so much, I wouldn't say it wasn't like they, because they wasn't forcing. I said, okay, but I just laid there as if it was like when I was 12. I'm not having no interaction with these people. I'm just there. And now that I'm older and I think about it, just the fact that they didn't even notice that, and like, they just kept going, it still was kind of like the same thing. So that really just affected me in a major way, to where I didn't trust myself. And then that process of not honoring my no and coming back to my power of honoring my no, it was, those moments that I'm realizing that you were awakening back to your power in different stages in your life. And so I was guided to share today, and I was like, "Are y'all sure?" And they was like, "Yeah, because this is something you never talked about, period." I've shared periodically stories about it. I don't think I ever shared just all the details of it. So this, I needed this for me. You know what I'm saying? And just to show how I worked through my trauma, the processes that I had to go through, how it affected me in different ways. And I didn't even realize some of these things until later. You know what I'm saying? Especially um with the first love piece of it, and just how that's why he was my first love, because he was the first person to respect my no. He was the first person who I willingly gave all of me to, because every connection before that was, I was not there. I wasn't there. They didn't get all of me. They got that little scared 12-year-old girl who said no and somebody forced themselves on her. That's the part of me that they got. And so, you know, I know that I've gotten so much better at communicating. I still, and sometimes I don't know the why until after. I just had to be obedient to what my soul was showing me. And maybe it was for, to just help somebody else on their journey, to just maybe see where they at now, or, just recognizing their patterns and their cycles that they may have their self trapped in because of a trauma. But that was how mine's affected me in my life. And I always said it never made me fear being alone with people or wanting to have a relationship, but it did make me create that I'm never going to say no again, because nobody is ever going to do that to me again. And that wasn't healthy. You know what I'm saying? Because I found out that the hard way. You can't put yourself in a situation where your health is at risk. Like, I was like, nah, this is serious. I'm not trying to live my life like that. And just how I moved after that was very like, I matter. I matter. I didn't still trust me, but I knew that I mattered. I knew that my voice mattered. I knew that I had the right. And what happened to me was not my fault. And for years, I blamed myself. I blamed myself because I was like, oh, I had this feeling when I was 9. And at 12, I blamed myself because I didn't listen. Why didn't I listen? Why didn't I get out this car? And I knew if I would have got out the car and went home, the way that I was guided was not the normal way of, like, you get out, you're like, oh, this is a busy street, let me go this way. No, it was the dark way, the back way. And where I lived, I would have had to go under a bridge. So I was taking all of that into consideration. I was thinking about my sister. I was like, I can't get out. I'm scared. The fear kept me there. The fear allowed something to happen to me anyway. The fear of saying no brought me to this place where now my health is at risk. And, you know, the fear, I just think about the fear of not listening to my intuition, the places they have taken me. You know what I'm saying? So now now that I'm talking about it, I feel very strongly that now when my intuition tells me something, whether, if it's going on a path of keeping me safe from danger or bringing me to this place of evolving in my soul's journey, and like doing things like this, like I was guided, hey, get on here and share, talk, right? Of course the fear come up, but I think now me facing those fears and saying, you know what, I what's on the other side of this, I don't know, but I have to trust it. I have to trust it. And people ask me all the time, like, what is that like when your intuition is talking to you? Like, how do you know that is your intuition? And trust me, I have those moments where I'm like, okay, is this me? Like, is this me, or is this really me being guided? Is this my intuition speaking to me, or is this me, right? The So that's what I say. Is it my intuition or is it me? And how I know the difference is because, first of all, when my intuition is telling me to do something, it's not something that I will willingly do on my own. Like, to get on here and talk about this, I'm not volunteering to do this. Like, I'm not. I'm just not that person. But when the ego, I know the difference when my intuition telling me to do it, I'm like, okay, it's not something that I would do on my own. And then the ego comes with the fear and say, are you really about to go in there and talk about that? You know how judgmental people are. You know this, you know that. And in my soul, like, my soul has peace. And it's saying, but guess what? It don't matter what nobody else say or nobody else judgment, because guess what? You have done the work. You have no more guilt and shame around this. And I was talking to my friend earlier, and she said, it's some stuff you can't talk about to people, like your traumas you can't share with people because then they can use it against you to hurt you. And I had to stop her. I said, let me tell you something. That that is only true when you still have guilt and shame around your trauma. Then yeah, people can use it to hurt you. But when you have healed, when you have released the guilt, the shame of your trauma, first of all, knowing that it was not your fault. It wasn't your fault what happened to you. When you release the guilt and the shame around that, can't nobody use nothing against you to hurt you because you have done your work. I said when it hurts, when we share with people and we still have the guilt and shame or we're feeling like it's our fault. You know what I'm saying? And I felt that for so many years, guilt, shame, to be able to say, oh, I had chlamydia and freaking crabs, caught that shit from somebody. Like, I've never been able to say that to anybody because I was ashamed. First of all, you know what I'm saying? I was ashamed of not standing in my power and saying no to these people that I really did not want to be intimate with. Like, I didn't care about them like that. But I was in a situation where, yes, I'm not afraid to make connections. So now I'm alone with this person in the house. You think I'm about to say no and let the same thing happen to me again? Nah, no. So that was me saying this is my way of having some type of power over myself where I can just lay here and detach and just be here and allow this person to have their experience and get up and go about my business. So um that is the part that's important, right? Because so many people have things that have happened to them and we feel like it's our fault. We feel like we are to blame. Why? Because we didn't listen to our intuition. We didn't, um trust ourselves to say no or whatever it is for you. Like, no, it wasn't your fault. No, you weren't the blame. No, you no longer have to carry the guilt and shame around it. It is time to release it. If you are somebody who's still holding on to guilt and shame about something that happened to you, it's time to release it. It is okay. It was not your fault. It wasn't your fault. It took me a long time to get to that place. It took me a long time to get to that place. But guess what? I don't have no regrets about the things that have happened because I look at how it all had purpose and how I continue to go within myself and said, okay, how can I be better? Right? We have the power to choose. You can choose. I could have chose to stay in that pattern, in that cycle of being afraid to say no. Who knows where my life would have ended up? Yes, I had a baby early. I became a mother very early. You know what I'm saying? But it all apparently was a part of my soul's journey because here I am. You know what I'm saying? Everything that has happened to me, I have learned from and I use it to go within myself and learn how to be better, how to be a better version of me, no matter what happened to me. You know what I'm saying? So, um, that's what I look at now. That's what drives me now. It's like you experience that, but look at you. Look at who you are. Look at your heart. Look at how you show up in life. Nobody would never know that something like this happened to you. Nobody would never know that you experienced something like this. But now you are in a space where you can openly share and openly talk about this from your healed space with no guilt and no shame. And when I was shown that to talk about it today, of course, I did all the things. I'm going back and forth with myself. And I was like, how do I still want confirmation. Like, I know y'all telling me to do this, but I'm still saying, like, my ego saying, this is crazy. You're about to do what? You're about to do what? Talk to strangers about this. What? And of course, my spiritual team come through with the song. And the song that they played was Yolanda Adams, I'm gonna be ready. And in that song, the verse that they played was the verse where she said, I'm gonna do it this time with no guilt and no shame. And I knew exactly in that moment they were saying, yes, you are ready to talk about this, and yes, on your live. Because you don't have no guilt and no shame around it. And we got you. It took me an hour before I got on here. I sat in this call for an hour. Yes, still going back and forth with my ego and what I know I was being guided to do. And when I'm being guided to get on here and talk about things that I know I wouldn't willingly say I'm going to talk about, I have anxiety. My stomach was turning. Like I felt like I had to throw up. And I was sitting here. I breathed. I was breathing through it. I said, you know what? You already know. You already got your confirmation. You already know. You don't have to know the why. But as I'm on here talking, I understand the why. I understand the why. It's for me first, but it's also to help somebody else. But for me, it's my power to be able to speak freely, the confidence to be able to share my story without guilt and shame. When I leave this place, when I take my last breath, I want to take it empty. I want to leave this place empty. I want to leave it here to help people along their journey. I don't need to take it with me. It wasn't for me to bury and suppress and to die with. It was for me to share and express. And people say, "Oh, don't heal online. Don't talk about your traumas online. Don't do this. Don't do that." Online. But everybody journey is different. Is being guided to do different things. Oh, you should get paid for your story. All the things that they say. All the things that they say. But that's not what my soul came here to do. That's not. So, you know, I just move accordingly to what I'm being guided to do. And I was shown, it may have been last year, like I was given these topics or like titles for every day of the week. And at first I was like, I ain't getting on here every day. But when I went live with my daughter, we said on Mondays we was gonna do mother-daughter duo. And Mondays was mother-daughter duo and Tuesday was Transparency Tuesday. So last night after we got off, I was like, I'm not going live tomorrow because I'm cool. Like, I'm cool. I'm gonna take a break. But when I was woken up at 2 a.m. for meditation, they was like, Transparency Tuesday, remember? You and your daughter went live for the first time and y'all was been supposed to start doing that. So now this is showing you to get in this flow of getting on here and talking. And I know you don't like it. I know you don't like to get on here every day, but you waited long enough. You've taken all the breaks. And one of my fears, I would say it's a fear of like just being on here. I'm like, I'm not a social media person. I don't want to be on here every day, all day. But if it's what my soul came here to do, then hey, I'm here for it. You know what I'm saying? It's not, I know it's not just about me. I know it's not. So I'm just in alignment, doing what my soul came here to do. I told my co-workers at my old job, like, I'm about to go on a magical carpet ride with my soul. And for me, it's like now that I am in this space of completely trusting, it don't matter what it looks like. And I'm not saying that the more you trust your intuition, the easier it gets. Because I don't think that's true. Like, you still have all the feelings. You still have the anxiety. You still have the fear. You still have all the things. But the fear is coming from the ego trying to keep control. You know what I'm saying? But the soul is like, nah, we come here to set ourselves free. Like, you are free to talk about what you have experienced. You are free to talk about it. And free I am. Like, I didn't know how this was gonna go. How I was feeling when I got on here, the anxiety, feeling like I was like, am I gonna be able to get through this? And look, I got through it. I was able to talk about it without even shedding a tear. So yeah, I'm just excited for this new timeline that I'm in, and excited for where I'm going. It feels good to be able to really express myself freely, express my truth without any guilt or shame or holding back, worried about other people, judgment. And you know why I can sit here and do that? Because I no longer judge myself. I'm no longer beating myself up. I have accepted me and all of me for who I am. I know that my trauma and the things that I experienced, I know that my upbringing, all of those things are not my identity. They're not my identity. And for so long, I thought it was. My emotions is not my identity. Nope. So, this is what it looks like to truly have peace within yourself when you have truly accepted you and all of you for who you are. I know now that I'm a spiritual being having a human experience, and everything that I experienced, I was destined to experience on my path. I know that. I didn't understand it when it happened. I didn't understand it when I went through it. But coming out of it, I prayed and I asked, like many people do, why did this happen to me? And I was shown. I was given clarity. And that clarity helped me to release and let go of the heaviness that I was carrying all those years. It don't matter where you grew up at, what you went through. If you still here, you still have breath in your lungs, you still getting up every day, showing up for life, is another chance for you to choose you and to be a better version of you. Like, nothing has power over you unless you allow it to have power over you. So, you know, just trust it. It's so funny because I was going to, hey y'all, I was going to turn my comment sections off. It's so crazy because I asked, I was like, do I turn my comment section off? And of course, they said no. But I was going to turn it off because I was like, I just want to share this without, all of the interactions in the comments. And for me to come on and my comments was on just lets me know that this is how it was supposed to be. Because it don't even matter. It don't even matter. I did what I needed to do. Like, I appreciate the people who come on with respect, with love, and positive vibes, and the ones who come in with the chaos, the confusion. It's like, you, good or bad, I'm learning that I don't need to be attached to neither. Just be present with the moment. And I love and appreciate, like I said, the genuine people who come on here and just really come and hold space with love, and listen to understand and to see how something that I may be sharing may help them on their journey. And for the other ones, I just use it as a stepping stool to be better and to elevate more, So, um, it just goes to show that the way that things are destined to be, that's the way they're going to be. And sometimes when we try to continue to put ourselves in a box or in a shell and say, you know what, I'm going to protect myself, to me, these comments still being on is my spiritual team saying, look, we got you. We got you. We got you. We going to get you through this. And you going to share this with an open heart and freely. So I appreciate it. Oh, thank you. Let me see. Hold on. Let's see. Um, it gets easier. Somebody said it gets easier, but they don't think it gets better. I think both. I'm learning that two things can be true at the same time. You know what I'm saying? Because life is gonna be what it's gonna be. Like, stuff's gonna happen. We don't know what we're gonna experience or how it's gonna affect us, but we do get to choose how we show up after that. Like, I could have made the choice to stay stuck in that energy, you know, but I chose to. And I know when I say, I did the work, I did. I mean, I had to physically do the work, but I know I had support and love, and I was divinely guided and protected from the spiritual realm. But even in that, like today, I was guided to get on here and share, but I could have made the choice not to. I could have been afraid. I could have let fear stop me. So we have that free will, that power of choice, but we are being divinely guided and protected. Everybody have that guidance. Everybody's connected to source. And you do have a spiritual team. You have angels, spirit guides, ancestors watching over you. I have learned to lean into that because my life has shown me that, yes, they're here, they're present, even when I was in my darkest moments. You know, the gratitude. So, um, my process of finally healing and stop blaming myself for when I was raped at 12. I the first thing that I did on that healing journey was I forgave the person, right? I didn't know him, didn't even know his name. I didn't know him, but energetically, I can remember going to the park and like because I had never spoke about it. I went to the park and I like just journaled out everything that had happened, and that was my way of like, you know, releasing it. And I said, you know what? I forgive this person. I forgive this person for what they did to me. And my soul showed me like, hey, you forgave this person, but you haven't forgiven yourself. And it took years for me to get to that place to forgive myself because I still blame myself for not listening to my intuition. I was punishing myself for years for not listening. Years. And then when I was shown like, hey, you forgave this person, but you haven't even forgiven yourself, I still wasn't able to. It took me some time. Like it took me some time to be able to forgive me, which spoke volumes about how I had to go within and work through some stuff, you know? So, um, I felt bad because I didn't tell like my brother or my grandfather or my dad, and they had done transition. So one day I just went to the park, I sat in the car and I just talked to them and I was like, I never, and even though I know like they're on that side now, so they know, I still felt the need to be able to say it out loud talking to them. So I sat in my car and I just talked to them and I said, look, this happened to me and I'm sorry I didn't tell y'all. And, you know, that was a part of my healing with that. Um, and the more I went through those processes, I was able to um, talk about it without crying. Because for so long, after not saying anything for so long, when I finally was forced to now say something about it, um, I couldn't get through it without crying. I couldn't talk about it without crying. But once I did like the journaling and forgiving the person and being finding gratitude for what had happened, my gratitude for it was I could have died that night. I have an aunt who didn't make it. Like she was killed after something like that. So in a moment I was like, this thing has happened to you and it had changed you in a major way, but I was able to find gratitude just that I still had my life. And so that helped me with my healing, and really getting away from the guilt and the shame. And a huge part of it though was just acceptance. Like accepting that it wasn't my fault was the biggest shift in me letting go of the guilt and shame around what had happened. So um yeah, so it was a process. Like I keep telling everybody like healing happens in layers, and I used to have these moments where it will randomly come up and I'll be like, why is that coming up again? Like I already healed from that. And I had to recognize like, no, it happens in layers. So then I just stopped asking why and saying, okay, if it came up, what are you trying to show me now about this? What are you trying to show me now about this? And I kept telling people like, I don't know if you ever fully heal from something. And then I'm like, how do you know when you have healed completely? Because I know we're going to be healing throughout our journey because we've been through so much. So you're not going to heal from everything all at once. So when it comes to this, me sharing this today and being able to talk about it and share the whole story so openly and so freely without crying, without guilt and shame, they're showing me you are healed from this. And that's why I needed to share today. I'm like, I didn't know why at first. And I'm now that I'm sitting here, I'm like, oh wow. So they're showing me like, how do you know that you're healed from something when you have accepted that it wasn't your fault, when you no longer have guilt and shame around it, you have forgiven yourself, you have forgiven the person that, you know, who hurt you, and you able to share it freely without crying. So I got my answer. So we do fully heal from things. We just are not healed because we're healing from different things, right? I know there's other areas in my life of things that has happened that I have to heal from. But when it comes to that, I have completely healed from that. And I'm celebrating. Like I have gratitude for it because it was not easy, but I'm grateful for this person that sits here today. And so, yeah, I have gratitude for it. Hmm. Oh man. And the song Yolanda Adams is now playing in my head. That's my song. I'm gonna be ready. Like that's my song. And when I was in the church, I had like my favorite church songs. And after I came out of Christianity, I went through this phase of I ain't listening to no Christian music. And then those songs started coming up for me, and I was like, man, I really enjoyed that song. And now I listen to whatever I want to. Like, it don't matter. I know people be like, what are you? What are you? You meditate, you listen to Christian music, you this, you that. I'm like, I am me. I'm a spiritual being having a human experience. And I love what I love. And music, it don't matter that, it's Christian based. Like, to me, it's just the universe, you know, it's the universe. It's the divine. It's all the same. So I take it and apply it to my life and how it fits in my world. But I love music. And that song is just so um profound for where I am right now and my spiritual team speaking to me for this new chapter. Like, I'm ready for this because I know the divine is right there with me. I know my spiritual team is right here with me. I'm not alone. And they prove that today and every day. Like, they're just showing me more now than ever though, because they were there all along, but I felt so disconnected from it. And that disconnection feeling was an illusion because I look over my life, like, even though I didn't feel like I trust myself, I was trusting myself. Like, I was trusting myself because I was making choices in moments, doing the best thing that I needed to do for me, even when I didn't know that I was making the best choice for me. I was doing that. And I felt like I wasn't doing anything. I felt like I was getting it all wrong. Like, I didn't know what I was doing. And just with every area of my life, with me on my personal journey, with me as a mom, just full circle. So to do all that work, to lose myself, to find myself, is what my journey has been like. I lost myself to find myself. And now that I have found myself, it's like, welcome home. Now we can experience this life the way it was meant to be experienced without the heavy baggage. So, the things happen. I still have my moments. I still have doubts. I still have fears, as y'all see. I talked about it. I'm having a human experience. So it's normal. All those feelings and things are not going to go away. Like, the soul needs the body to have the experience. One can't exist without the other. So allow yourself to feel, allow yourself to have the experience. The not so good ones, just know that they don't define you. Nobody is going through this life untouched by some type of hurt, pain, or trauma. Everybody has experienced something on some level. Some of us worse than others. You know what I'm saying? But it does not define us. And I think the biggest trap is when we think that those things define us. that is our identity. That's the biggest trap. So, just allow yourself to work through your process, is um work through your process in the way that works for you, not on nobody else's timing. You know what I'm saying? And your soul is going to show you what you're ready for. Like, I keep telling people, you don't have to go digging for it. It's going to come up. When you're ready, it'll come up. But it's you knowing that when it comes up, like, it's time to sit with it, not suppress it, not bury it. So it's just having that understanding. And that's something I had to learn. Because when things would come up, I would be like, why is this coming up? Like, I don't have time to deal with this. I don't have time to be present with this because I have all of this new stuff going on, but we have to create the space for us. We have to make the time for us. We have to choose us. We have to start putting us first. So, yeah. Oh, that's it. Um, Never hold it in. Not your fault. It's crumb bums. Who's the problem? Oh man. But yeah. I appreciate y'all for joining. Um um, I appreciate y'all for joining. I'm gonna hop off here. I yeah, I have peace. I feel good about, you know, everything that I share. Sometimes I like to wait a minute because I'd be like, if they want me to share something else, and I'll talk about it. But um, yeah, I'm probably gonna go lay down and, well, no, go take my shower and go to bed. I'm not even hungry. I just feel at peace. Like, just feel so light. Just want to go rest and, yeah, just enjoy this beautiful energy space that I'm in. But I'm gonna go live tomorrow and um just talk about, me and my niece was talking about just how, you know, people have this idea of, like, things corrupting you, like music or things that you watch or just your upbringing. Like, I had to remind her that, like, because okay, so I'll share this. So I was talking to my niece, and she was like, oh, I was guided to listen to rap music, and I was like, I don't even like rap music. Like, why am I being guided to listen to rap music? And she was like, I just wanted to release some anger, but I wanted to release it listening to rap music. And she was like, I don't even listen to rap music. And I said, sometimes you are being guided to listen to something because that's what you need to listen to in that moment. Like, the song is not going to corrupt you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can listen to whatever you want to listen to. I said, look at what you were raised around and look at who you are. And I have to come back to me too. And I'm like, look at your environment. Like, these things do not define you. They do not corrupt you unless you let them. You know what I'm saying? Like, It's all up to you. Like, you have the power. I don't even know why I went there. You know what? I'm gonna stop saying that because I know why. But nothing has power over you. Like, you have the power to choose. Like, I listen to whatever I want. I had to do that for myself because I was like, when people was like, oh, you shouldn't eat this type of food, you shouldn't eat that type of food, that's not good for you, that's not good for you. I had to come back to myself and look at my life. All my life, every time I went to the doctor, when it came to my health and like physically, all the things that I was eating was what people would consider as crap. But I never had any like serious health issues, you know? And when I stopped eating all the things that people were saying was bad for me, I lost so much weight, and I literally was about to die because I was so small because I wasn't eating nothing. Because every time I buy something, somebody else will be saying, oh, that's not good for you. That's not real food. It's this, it's that. And I just had to step back. I have to step back. My spiritual team got me to step back and say, look at your own life and stop listening to these outside voices. Stop listening to these people. Like, what worked for them may not work for you. And when it came to the music, you know, you in the church, it's like, oh, don't listen to rap music. That's the devil's music. Is this, is that. And then it's like, I went through this whole phase of, I'm not listening to this music. I'm not listening to that music. I listen to whatever music I want to. I listen to whatever I want to. I'm learning how to listen to my body when I'm eating stuff. Now, when I eat things, I pay attention to my body and how I feel. So now I know. I used to love burgers. Now I know I can't eat burgers because when I eat them, it irritates my stomach. So I'm not doing red meat. You know what I'm saying? It's just really listening to you and your body and what your body needs at the time that it needs it. When you're not hungry, don't eat. Stop forcing yourself to eat. Like, this is me talking to me. When I'm not hungry, I don't eat. My body is saying we need to fast right now. So then I fast. I used to try to force myself to fast. Like, I'm going to go on this fast. 30-day fast. No eating junk food fast. All the things. But I just had to tell her, like, you have to come back to you and your knowing of what you know for yourself, what you have experienced, how you grew up, how you was raised, and look at yourself and who you are as a person and see how none of those things dictated who you are. Like, you are who you were destined to be. You know what I'm saying? We were raised around people drinking and smoking all the time. Like, yes, I drank and I smoked when I was younger, but as an adult, like, all the adults that was around me smoked and drank. I don't smoke and drink as an adult. So, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, we have the power to choose. And we have to look at our own life and see what works for us. Like, stop listening to outside voices. Listen to yourself. Listen to your intuition, what your body is telling you, what you need. Even when you go to the doctor and you're telling them, like, oh, something's not right. And they're saying, oh, we don't see anything. I had to learn for myself though. I know sometimes people go and, you know, the doctors don't find nothing, and the person is saying, like, hey, I'm feeling this, I don't feel good, whatever. But for my own personal journey, I'm learning too, like, spiritually, sometimes things are going on within your body spiritually. And it shows up as a pain in your back or on your side. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just being in tune with me. And I'm saying that to say, just be in tune with you and your body, and listening to your body. But then that comes back to trusting your intuition and your gut. Like, what is your intuition saying? Because your intuition may say, hey, something's physically wrong, like you need to go to the doctor. Or it may be saying, you're fine, you're just going through a spiritual cleanse, purification, healing going on within your body. Um, yeah, somebody needed to hear that. Because I was about to get off here. I'm like, why did you go there? But hey, that's the story of my life. I'm always asking myself, girl, why did you go to that subject? And it's always divinely guided. But how y'all night going? I guess I can interact with y'all on here. Um, do, 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 do. Oh goodness. Y'all crack me up. Y'all are hilarious. You cannot understand anything beyond your perspective or your perception of your own experience. So if you don't know what it's like to be tapped in, to be connected to your spiritual team, to know that you're a soul having a human experience, yeah, you wouldn't understand. So I totally understand. I totally understand what you're saying. Who who how would you know who's experiencing fake peace? Because guess what, baby? Energy don't lie. Energy don't lie. But what you're really saying is you have not found peace within yourself. So that's all that's saying to me, because energy don't lie. People can say 1,000 words, but energy don't lie. How you showing up in the world? Hmm? How you showing up in the world? Because peace and unconditional love, it don't lie. And when you know, you know. You ain't out here trying to convince people or going back and forth with people about what you know. Mm-hmm. I'm sending you love, girl. Because I could have sworn Jesus said, don't judge, right? Or you will be judged. Oh, goodness. Y'all are hilarious. Y'all hilarious. Y'all say y'all believe in this. Y'all read the book. Some of y'all don't even read it. Some of y'all don't even read the Bible. But you say you believe in this thing. And everything that the book says, y'all do the total opposite. Judge or and you will be judged. That's what the book say. So sit with that. Go to sleep with that tonight. Go to sleep with that tonight. Baby, let me tell you, Christ is my homie. Do you know that Christ consciousness is in me? You know that? Y'all don't even believe he told y'all. These things I can do, y'all can do and more. And y'all still don't know that. Y'all still don't know that. This is the channel though for learning and growing. You were guided here for a reason. See, your ego have you in a chokehold and you trying to, convince yourself of all the things you're leaving in my comment section. But you wouldn't be here if your soul didn't bring you here. But your ego have you in a chokehold. Your ego want to keep you stuck where you are, but your soul may be saying it's time to leave up out that thing. It's time to evolve. It's time to grow. You didn't come here to stay here very long. But hey, you won't know that as long as you let your ego keep controlling you and passing judgment on somebody who you don't know, on things that you have not experienced. But I understand where you coming from because like I said, you can only comment off of your perspective and your perception of your own experience. And that is okay. It's okay to be where you are. But just know when you're in soul alignment, the Christians that are in soul alignment, they are not here throwing out scriptures at people. They are living their life's purpose. So I suggest you go find yours. Because apparently you're out of alignment where you are. So, yep. Go do your soul work, sweetie. You don't have to convince me. The people who know, they ain't out here condemning or judging people because the good book says, do not judge others. Do not judge others or you will be judged. And you already doing it to yourself. You judge yourself all day, every day. You sitting in your own internal turmoil, your own hell within yourself. You're battling demons within yourself that you don't even understand. And so, you don't have peace. But you're attracted to me because you see the peace. You see the peace within me. But I send you love. See, this is what happens when you know who you are, baby. You're not trying to defend yourself. You just know what you know. And you allow people to have their experience, to know what they know, and show a reflection of who they are by the comments that they leave. So, yep. Kudos to you for showing up as your authentic self. But yes, my time has come and I send you love. And I'm going to end this live like I end all of my lives. Thank you to the beautiful souls who joined with beautiful energy. I'm sending you love. And thank you to the lost souls who joined. I'm sending you love also. The lost souls just don't know they come here to find their path. So I'm sending y'all love. Peace, love, and light. Y'all have a good night, morning, wherever you're watching from. But I'll see y'all tomorrow.